Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch, no. Real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because mental muscle is necessary for implementing successful business strategies. It's time to learn how to beat your business no matter what life throws at you. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we discuss the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Hey y'all, I have a question. When does this shit get easy? You know, the entrepreneurial journey. Some of you all, do you ever even wonder that? And why am I asking this question? And of course, you know, I have the answer. I'm asking this question because not too long ago, I put up a post, and the post basically just says, you know, whoever you are, whatever you do, however you act, just be that and quit trying to be so professional, because professionalism is relative in entrepreneurship. And those of you that have been following me long enough, you know exactly what that means. Well, there's somebody that I've met online. The chemistry was pretty high as far as being the kind of entrepreneur I may want to collab with, or I definitely want, you know, good energy in my feed. But they came on that post and they were like, you know, great job, keep doing what you're doing because you're killing it. I know it's not easy, but I got resources on my page that'll be good for you. Now, this person, they are in the finance industry. They don't know anything about my personal life. They don't know what I do with my money. They don't even really know anything about my business other than the energy and vibe that I brought to different circles, like when we've been in different conversations and stuff like that. And so me being the kind of person that I am, and I'm actually waiting for a response as I'm recording this podcast, I was like, you know, thank you. I love what I do, but I'm not sure what you mean by, you know, it isn't easy and that you have resources for me. And so I was sitting here like, dang, I can make a podcast episode about this and I can go so many different directions. And of course, you guys know that when people make comments or do things, it blossoms a topic. And then that topic just spirals to wherever it's going. So I can't say that what I'm about to say is a definite for this individual, but it's not the first time that it's happened to me. It's something that I see happen in the industry a lot. And I want to talk about it because part of me wants to reach out to her and say, are you having trouble, you know, getting clients, and now you're kind of just going after any and everybody? Because, you know, that's what I specialize in, right? Helping people show up authentically and connect with their ideal clients. But, you know, it's not that serious. But anywho, so I was just sitting there thinking to myself, is it easy or is it hard? You know, and I put posts up like it won't always be easy, but it'll be worth it. And I think sometimes what happens with individuals is that you get my message twisted with what you think is my struggle. Let me say that again. You get my message mixed up with what you think is my struggle. And what am I saying by that? A lot of times when people put posts up, you guys spend too much time thinking and you think it's about them. Like I have a friend who's always putting something up about, you know, mental health and self-esteem and stuff like that. But she graced me with letting me know about a time when she damn near wanted to kill herself. And how she's just sensitive to it now, that realizing that there are a lot of Black women that are out there who may be going through the same thing. So like that passion just runs through her veins to always put that kind of messaging out there. But it's not because she doesn't have a handle on that part of her life anymore. And she's very attentive to how she's feeling, and she exercises true self-care to make sure that she's managing, you know, what it is that she's feeling. So if you look at that, you might want to reach out to her every 5 minutes. You okay, queen? You okay, queen? When that's not the situation. You know, if that happens, it would have to definitely be a divine move of God. Well, same thing with me. You know, I know what it looks like to be in that hard place when you're considering quitting. But my ideal client, I'm speaking to them and the struggles that they're having, not the struggles that I'm having. So when I talk about, inauthenticity and, getting your message mixed up and, wanting to quit, being confused about price points and stuff like that, I ain't talking about myself. I'm talking about what I've been through. I'm talking about what I've been through. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about what I've been through and what I see some of my clients go through. So let's just make sure that we make that perfectly clear. And so when does this thing get easy? I'm going to tell you when it gets easy. It gets easy once you accept the journey. Period, point blank. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Are there days where being an entrepreneur gets on my nerves? From the standpoint of like technology and stuff like that, because things happen that are out of my control, yes. But I don't have any clients that I don't like. Okay, listen to me loud and clear. I don't have any clients that I don't like, and it's been years. In the very beginning of my journey, I would have some clients where I'd be like, whew, let me breathe deep. But then I had to realize that I had to change my messaging and I had to change my criteria prior to allowing someone to come into my coaching space. Period, point blank. I have a right to choose. That's why I became an entrepreneur. And so no matter how jacked up they may be in the head, where I may have to be like, ooh, this is going to be a doozy to work with them. And I tell some, I'll be like, Lord, you stubborn as hell, Lord. Oh my God, you are so pessimistic. Why pessimistic? Why do you always see, things in the most negative light and so on and so forth? But I love them all. And when I wake up in the morning, if anything, I have to always police myself from not over giving. I want to be valuable and I definitely want to give, but I could just give and give and give. Like I have some women that are in FMB that they're not in a higher tier and they don't get calls. But I'm so passionate about what I do. Every once in a while, I may pick up the phone and be like, hey, I was just thinking about something. I want to check on you and tell you that this came across my feed or whatever. You might want to use this, or research this individual. They may be, good for your podcast or your event, or you may want to implement some of these strategies or look at this, marketing because this is, connected to your industry. So if anything, I love what I do so much that I may actually have to pull myself back and be like, okay, wait a minute. They got to upgrade. They got to level up. They got to stay where they are, before I put too much time and energy into them. And then the other thing about it is of course, it definitely gets easier once you begin to bring in revenue. I mean, let's just be honest. Now, I do remember when I was busting my ass, driving for Uber, building my business, doing everything I had to do. And I actually had to get the mindset of acceptance all the way back then. But it was something to push through. But here's the difference between then and now. Then I had to accept the fact that I was given a tool that would help me fund building my business. I had to go ahead and accept the fact that the grit, the grind, the hard work, the foundation had to be laid. And so then everything that I did, it was kind of like, okay. So, like running, 15 miles every day for a distance runner, it may not be easy as in making the decision to do it, but it does become easy as in the ability to do it. And in your mind, it just becomes an accepted pattern of behavior, like brushing your teeth. It's just something that you do. And so that's what it was like in the beginning, adjusting to the struggle. But once you start doing what you're doing and you bring in just at least an adequate amount of income, then it actually turns on a trigger to make things more hopeful. If you all are doing what I've been telling you to do and you've been a student of your business and you have been very deliberate and intentional about the way you're laying things out so that you can have predictable income, and if anything, blow your mind because you blew your income goals out of the water instead of barely met them, then it gets easier and it feels different. So for me, what isn't easy is the nervous anxiety that I have to get over every single time I get ready to do an event. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to get the right speakers? I hope I get the signups. Even though I've been doing this for so long, because for me, it's kind of like performing. You want to make sure that this event is better than the last. And so you want to up level your game. Will you up level, your game enough? But even with that, it doesn't make it hard. It just puts me in a different headspace for creativity. So a lot of you all that aren't enjoying your entrepreneurial journey and that you think that it's hard and that's your natural assumption or where your head is at is because you haven't shifted your mindset and you haven't began to reap the benefits of it. Because, be honest. Let's be really honest. If you are doing something and you're not reaping benefits from it, it does get discouraging I remember when my husband and I first started trading, it seemed like the only thing we knew how to do was lose. I had what I call beginner's luck, and I was like, woo, 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 yeah, this feels good. But it wasn't feeling good when it's like, dang, man, okay, so what happened with this trade? What happened with that trade? And not having a mentor or somebody that could help you analyze what was going on and trying to figure this thing out on our own, that got frustrating. But it felt really good to come at the top of the year and say, okay, we have this in Robinhood, this in TD Ameritrade, all these different things. This is where our emergency fund looks like. And to be able to say we have our money, spread out, and we can't wait until our quarterly meeting to say, okay, this is where we were at the top of January 2021. Let's see where we're at the end of the first quarter. And it's going to feel very good to be at the end of 2021 and know that we actually have a net worth that's not in the negative. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I don't have to know all of my business, but when you look at car notes and student loans and investments and the things that have been done over the years, while my business may be cash flow positive, that doesn't mean that my future is. But I've been beasting my ass off for the last couple of years, learning how to do this shit, being very disciplined about it, even with, dealing with the ups and downs in the economy, and finally being able to say, okay, we've got a rhythm going. And that took time. And so now it doesn't, I'm not emotionally attached if a trade doesn't go the way we wanted to. It's like, oh, well, we have a steady long-term plan that's panning out because we keep on rising, and everything else around that is just shifting. But once again, part of what brought all of that about, the whole idea of being an entrepreneur is having the ability to create life on your terms. So yeah, in the beginning, it was like, yeah, we were thinking in a very immature fashion, like, yeah, let's make this money. Let's out earn these bills so we could change our life. And if we bring it in multiple six figures, this is what we gonna look like. Come on, wifey, let's build this business. Let's do what we do. But honestly, I can't say that we were looking at things and saying, okay, what are we really truly leaving behind for our children? Analyzing our money and saying like, oh, what's our net worth? We weren't doing that shit. You see the articles and stuff like that say that there's a huge disparity between, black and white people and so on and so forth. But we weren't taking any, empowered action to change it. And it didn't feel good in the beginning. And you know why? Because it felt like every time we put a comma in a savings, something happened and there was an emergency, and, an engine goes out in a car. There's a necessary coaching program that I need, and then it goes, to shit, or it doesn't yield the results we were looking for at a certain time. And, you try to invest in this and it doesn't go this way. And so it was hard. But then eventually it was like, look, you got to celebrate the little things. And sometimes the little things was just learning, whether that's trade, and I'm talking about both, because to me, in essence, they're the same. There's a different caliber of mindset to be a trader versus being an entrepreneur, but they're still about being self-made. They're still both about your creativity, and so it in the beginning, it was just like, kind of like, oh shit. But after a while, it's kind of like, okay, but I'm learning how to market. I'm learning how to position myself. I'm learning what my offer should be. I'm learning how to space out, how I feed out, the information to the people that I'm talking to. I'm beginning to understand what it means to, diversify, my accounts, and, not just do only growth stocks or dividend stocks. And what does it really look like to trade options and so on and so forth. It was like, okay, well, even if you're quote unquote losing money in either the business or in trading, it's what people pay six figures to get degrees that produce no return whatsoever. They got a wasted degree, can't even get a job in their field. Well, every time the money hasn't went the way we wanted to, we said, well, what's the lesson? So we're paying to get a life degree. You know what I'm saying? We're getting our doctorate through life we're paying for it. There'll never be a piece of paper, but that paper there, right? So anywho, when the woman put that question up, it just made me think, it's like, wow, what are you assuming that's hard? And for those of you, is it hard? Do you feel like it's hard? Because for me personally, you guys have to really truly understand this. Everybody's not built the same. Yeah, and I'm getting ready to wrap it up with this. If you think that I think entrepreneurship is hard, then you're not fucking paying attention. And I mean that shit with every fiber of my being. Because there's no reason for me to have a podcast. I don't have to have a podcast in order to expand my business. But evidently, based on my plan and my long-term goals, having a podcast is part of my strategy for me making sure that I'm leaving my voice behind for the rest of my life, for the world, even after my life, to leave a legacy. I didn't have to write books. I cranked out 4 books in 1 year in the midst of also doing summits. I was in the midst of dealing with moving during Hurricane Harvey and still put on summits and launched my podcast and wrote my books. I put pressure on myself. I go from one event to the next event, and I go, while I'm at this event and promoting this, program, I just go. Do. I'm always on the move. So all the books I'm writing, the podcast I'm doing, all of the, live videos that I put out there, all the offers that I put out there, I put pressure on myself. So the last thing I'm thinking about is how hard something is. It's like, shit, if the heat is what's going to get it cooking, then baby, let me turn that shit up my damn self. Okay? So, anywho, I know some of you all, you listen to the podcast because it's just about that extra. That's what I'm talking about. I need to hear somebody else speaking my language, especially a woman that's beast in the business. Because, unfortunately, I ain't going to even lie. I find myself having to listen to men because they just so grimy with it. And I mean that in a sexy way. And I don't want to hear that, oh my God, and just, I ain't knocking no other woman if that's what you do, but I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, just take your time. No, fuck that shit. I'm a beast. What we going to next? And I know that's why some women listen to me, because you tired of hearing that shit too, and it hasn't produced anything for you. Well, guess what? If you specialize in anything for black people, my black brothers and sisters, let me end on this note. If you've gotten at ease with what you're doing, whether that's because you are in, financing, investing, taxes, accounting, if you know how to help people design, killer courses, and the good shit about hosting events and making, online events successful, and whatever you can think of that pertains to helping other entrepreneurs make this journey easier, I want you to go to my site. I want you to apply for the M.O.V.E Summit. Master of Virtual Economy is coming this spring. I'm taking applications now and looking for some phenomenal speakers that are going to say, you know what, it's time that more black people knew where I'm at, because we got to keep on changing the game for our people. We got to keep on making sure we have the resources. We want resources that are for us and by us. And this is an opportunity of a lifetime to be a part of one of the dopest summits that's ever been brought to the online industry. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of you out there. Go to your respective platforms, click the link, wherever you're listening at, put a comment too. Let's, let me, how are you feeling about entrepreneurship? Is it easy? Is it hard? Can you share a comment to help somebody else, feel good about, this journey, and having a spirit of expectation that everything gonna be all right, So, anywho, it's your girl, August Crenshaw. I hope this enlightened you and inspired you. I'm out of here. Deuces.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you.